Welcome to what promises to be a once-in-a-lifetime celebration as the Pro Football Hall of Fame welcomes 28 new greats. The 2020 and 21 classes formally inducted over the next 2 nights as Canton, Ohio opens its arms to fans and the extended football families of all the men who will now join football immortality in these hallowed halls. As many mega greats return each year, John Elway, he welcomes a fellow Bronco. And legendary quarterbacks like Dan Marino welcoming a very special quarterback tomorrow night into their elite fraternity. Steelers legend Franco Harris is here. It gives you chills every time you see these men walk the red carpet. The Steelers so well presented at these festivities. The Steelers with 5 new inductees. Steelers Nation out in force. There is black and gold everywhere. It's the unofficial start to a new season as we kick things off here in Northeast Ohio on a very warm, humid evening at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. As we welcome you to a super-sized induction weekend, which fits perfectly into what will be a king-sized season. And so happy to be here with our Hall of Fame journalist, Chris Mortensen, Monday Night Football's Lewis Riddick. So here's what we've got. We've got 2 nights, 3 classes, the 2020 class tonight, along with a special Centennial class, and then the 2021 class tomorrow night. I mean, think how many years you've been coming here. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, and it's one of the great thrills when you actually bump into Siga. You realize you covered these guys. You've known them for so many years. Actually waited for a lot of them to be honored on a night like this and tomorrow night, and here we are.
Yeah, and how great is it that you see all these terrible towels out here? You feel like you're back at Three Rivers Stadium. I mean, it's just electric here. It's one of the great atmospheres that you'll ever experience coming to the Hall of Fame, because you know this is a crowning achievement for these guys.
We have 12 speeches tonight and then 7 more tomorrow night. So let's highlight some of the headliners. Lewis, let's start with the 4th member of the greatest show on turf, Isaac Bruce.
Yeah, drafted in 1994 in the 2nd round by the LA Rams. This is a guy who had over 15,000 yards receiving, 91 touchdowns, one of the smoothest route runners you will ever see. He made it just look effortless throughout his entire 16-year career. He beat people every which way that you could think of as a wide receiver. What a great night for him, and how deserving could Isaac Bruce be than to be here tonight.
And you mentioned those Steelers fans, the terrible towels. One of the many that they're going here for is Bill Cowher, who coached for 15 years, hired in 1992 at 36 years old, retired at 49 years old after 15 years, went to 2 Super Bowls, only won 1, but this is his night, and Steeler fans are glad to celebrate it with the chin.
Lewis, the Colts triplets will be complete. Marvin Harrison's in, Peyton tomorrow, Edgerrin James tonight.
Yeah, was this a good pick by Bill Polian or what in 1990, Ryan, when he drafted him 4th overall, where many people expected the reigning Heisman Trophy winner Ricky Williams to be the first running back taken. Edgerrin James, what does he wind up doing? He leads the league in rushing in his first 2 years in the NFL. And if you just YouTube his highlights, this guy was a problem for people, man. And I'll tell you this, he was a guy who made you make those business decisions as far as whether you wanted to be run over by him, as you see in these highlights over and over again.
And more Jimmy Johnson led the Cowboys to back-to-back Super Bowls.
Well, Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson shook up the world when they went to the Cowboys in 1989. Jimmy Johnson went 1-15 in his first year. Then there was something called the Herschel Walker trade. And then we learned not just about Jimmy Johnson, the coach, Jimmy Johnson, the architect, coached 2 of the Super Bowl championships, but was the architect of 3 Super Bowl champions and 4 consecutive Super Bowl appearances by the Cowboys.
And Lewis, first ballot Hall of Famer, Steelers safety Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, you know he was destined to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Look, Pittsburgh moved up in 2003. They drafted him 16th overall, moved up from 27th that year. They targeted this guy out of USC. Why? Because of the things you're seeing him do on the screen right here. He was an absolute problem as far as being a blitzer, a run defender, but in the back end, he also was a guy who could intercept the football. Another great night for a guy who's so well deserving.
And this just happened on the stage here at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Troy Polamalu just put on his yellow jacket because he had tested positive for COVID. They weren't sure if he could get here, but he arrived today. And he had that emotional moment just a few moments ago on the stage.
Cleared the day and he's all masked up.
and more the rest of the 2020 class.
You know, a lot of times we don't talk about the guys in the trenches, and we'll mention Jimbo Corbett later, but how about Steve Hutchinson? I thought he'd be in before now, but this is a 7-time Pro Bowl player, 5 times All-Pro, and when you talk about great guards as we go into the draft, they're compared to guys like Steve Hutchinson and Alan Faneca, who's being honored as well. So Steve Hutchinson finally gets his night, and we are certainly going to celebrate it with him.
And you know what's really, really great? This is just the beginning. It's a double dose of inductions this weekend. Tomorrow night, the class of 2021, including 5-time NFL MVP Peyton Manning. A quick preview of what's ahead tomorrow night, right after the break.